I'll talk to you later. So how's Padme?
Hey guys, it's 2:44 a.m. on Thursday morning. We just came out of the
Rogue One midnight screening. We're
Yeah.
both tired, but we're both committed. We are here on the streets of Chatswood recording our initial reactions to the movie. Zachary Katz, what did you think?
It was amazing. It was like the best standalone sequel prequel you could ever watch. It did such a good job by itself. There was, you had a couple of things here and there from the previous films. It just all worked really well together. The action was amazing. A couple of things here and there that were kind of off, but other than that, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a great time watching this. I think it's a really fantastic standalone movie. It's not a movie without its problems. I think it does a lot of things really, really well. It has fantastic world building, great action, and overall pretty great performances, but it does have a lot of shortcomings, which I do think are worth mentioning. Not the least of which is the fact that if you know anything about Star Wars, you'll know that the ending of this movie was spoiled literally 39 years ago with the release of New Hope in 1977.
Because pretty much in the first roll credits in the intro, it says, there was a battle.
This movie is
for
literally
the
about
planets.
how the first movie starts. And I think for all that was great about this movie, and there was a lot that was really fantastic about this, just the fact that you knew from the get-go how it was going to end just kind of lost a lot on me.
There were, moments and there are characters that we don't know from the rest of the franchise. There are some that did appear on like animated series, but really, we just didn't know their story, and this is what that movie was trying to go about.
For what we got a really, really great Star Wars movie.
So one thing that was really well done in the film was as Ed said, the world building. So we saw dozens of new planets. They were introduced quite differently to the other films as well. The photography was amazing.
Great cinematography.
Yeah.
Some really great visuals. The director, Gareth Edwards, who's probably most known for directing Godzilla, that came out 2 years ago, really, really has an eye for kind of like visual grandeur. And it comes across really well in this film. There's some really amazing, just big, large-scale shots of various different ships and planets that just look absolutely amazing on film.
It had a gritty, dark tone to it as well, which was
quite a departure from, although a lot of the original Star Wars movies do deal with some really dark themes, this one's really gritty, really grounded, almost. It really lives up to the name Star Wars. It feels like a war movie more than anything, more than just kind of a fantasy space opera, which I think is really to its credit because it kind of really does set itself apart from from all the other movies and does feel like a standalone movie. It has a very, very distinct tone and style and feel to the rest of the original trilogy and, of course, the most recent movie, Force Awakens.
Definitely. If you're going in thinking it's going to be like a lighthearted, another Disney Force Awakens film, it's definitely not that at all. Overall, ending of the film, which we don't want to spoil, I'll just say
it's quite unexpected. Although I just said that we know how it's going to end. Like I said, the movie isn't without some twists, and not even just twists, but just shock. So obviously, this movie is a standalone movie. It introduces a whole load of new characters. There are some familiar faces, not too many, and they only have very sparing roles in it.
Yeah, like one character, Saul, he did pop up, I think, in the Clone Wars TV series, and I think maybe Star Wars Rebels. I can't say for certain, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, and for the most part, this new cast is pretty great. I thought Felicity Jones did quite well. She plays the main character, Jyn Erso, I think was his name. And there's also, you've got Diego Luna, Donnie Yen, who I thought was one of the best characters in the film. I really want to mention Alan Tudyk, who's a really accomplished voice actor and just actor in general, playing K2SO in motion capture performance. Really, really, really fantastic.
You may have seen in when they were filming.
Plays this decommissioned Imperial droid, and he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he was the comedic relief of the film.
Absolutely, and
which was really necessary.
But not just in a silly way. He was incredibly witty and smart in a lot of places, which is quite surprising because normally the droids in this movie, when they're comedic, they normally play the kind of dumb role. They kind of play
C-3PO.
Exactly like that. And this was kind of really refreshing in that way. I do want to mention, as much as I did love the cast, I thought a lot of the characters were underdeveloped. They did feel a bit half-baked. One in quite a few of them, in fact. But you know, one of the villains in this movie is played by Ben Mendelsohn, an Australian actor, an actor I really, really love, and he's pretty good in it. But they didn't really let him do Ben Mendelsohn. He's a really brilliant actor, and he plays evil kind of almost scaringly well. And I thought in this movie he just felt a little bit flat to me, and I was hoping for so much more. There is another villain, of course. Anyone who's read about this movie, Darth Vader is in this movie. He's very, very briefly. I think he's only in 2 different scenes.
Yeah, 2 scenes.
I had some issue with the performance in the movie of Darth Vader. I think as good as James Earl Jones is as voicing Darth Vader, he's lost a bit of his touch. You know, it's been nearly 30 years since he last reprised the role, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have a really kick-ass scene.
Yeah.
There's an amazing scene towards the end with Darth Vader, not to spoil anything, but
it was so good.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. It's really awesome.
They did introduce him, I think, probably midway during the film. That was a bit of a letdown.
Han Solo dies!
So there were some recurring characters from the franchise. I mean, we got a glimpse of, you know, C-3PO, R2-D2, but we also got some, I'll say, unfamiliar faces.
I don't think so. I mean, one of the bigger secondary characters is actually
the original
from the New Hope. We got Grand Moff Tarkin returning, played by I believe his name is Peter Cushing. I believe he's been dead for I think about 20 years now. Yeah. He looks, when you first see him, it's a bit jarring. You get used to it. Unfortunately, they overuse it a little bit too much, and it does look more and more fake the more you look at it. But I do appreciate them trying to use it in the movie. However,
if they used him less, it would have been more effective.
For a movie this budget, I thought it could have looked a whole lot better.
Yeah, Tarkin wasn't the only character who reprised their role in the series.
Yeah, there was some...
That's a spoiler, man.
Not really.
No, it is.
Like, we know...
No, don't say that. But for all that, though, overall, it's a pretty fantastic Star Wars movie. Fans of the series will like this one a lot. I think even people who aren't really fans of the series can find a lot of enjoyment just because there is some really fantastic action and some really incredible visuals. Some of the characters could have been a little bit better, but overall, I had a really great time watching this.
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
Where did Alex go?
No, it was an amazing film. I would definitely recommend it to everyone. It's going to do amazingly well. Yeah. May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.